In emergency triage, the chart is full of clues. Human teams miss patterns that AI now catches in minutes. That matters because the first decision is often the one that decides everything else. On a Sunday night, a 62-year-old warehouse supervisor sits in a blue-lit corridor, bent forward on a plastic chair, one hand on his ribs. His daughter keeps looking from his face to the triage desk, trying to answer a question nobody can answer fast enough. Harmless discomfort, or the first hour of a collapse? In a Harvard study published April 30th, 2026, OpenAI's O1 reasoning model identified exact or very close diagnoses in 67% of emergency cases. Human doctors were at roughly 50 to 55%. Microsoft's MAI-DxO went further, 85% correct on complex New England Journal of Medicine cases versus 20% for physicians in the comparison study. This is not a story about a clever assistant. It is a story about what happens when the machine becomes the better first judge. Triage is not magic. It is ranking under uncertainty. A nurse sees pain location, breathing rate, age, medication history, timing, skin color, lab values, and tries to compress all of that into a fast decision. The problem is not effort. It is bandwidth. A human brain cannot hold millions of prior cases in working memory, and pressure makes the signal noisier. AI systems work differently. They absorb huge datasets, compare the current case against learned distributions, and rank likely explanations by pattern, not intuition. In medicine, that means symptoms become structured inputs: chest pain, respiratory pattern, age, medications, prior records, and timing. The model tests those clues against vast case histories, then updates confidence as new data arrives. It is not thinking faster. It is searching a larger space of possibilities than a tired clinician can access. And the same mechanism scales elsewhere. In markets, algorithms react to streams of price, volume, and order flow faster than human reflex. About 70% of US stock market trading volume is initiated through algorithms. In creative work, systems like DALL-E and MuseNet generate images and music by learning statistical structure in style itself. No formal training required. That is why the pressure is not isolated. BCG's April 2026 analysis says 50% to 55% of US jobs could be reshaped in the next 3 years. Not all erased, reshaped. But that still means the first judgment is moving. On complex diagnostic cases, MAI-DxO reached 85% accuracy, while doctors averaged 20%. That is not a slight edge. It is a hierarchy inversion. But accuracy alone does not solve deployment. In a waiting room, a system can be right and still unsafe if nobody can audit it, contest it, or legally own the consequence. Base rates matter too. If a condition is rare, even a very accurate screen can flood the system with false alarms. Suppose prevalence is 1% in 1 million people. A test with 99% specificity still creates about 9,900 false positives and about 10,000 true positives. That is roughly a 50% positive predictive value. So the machine can be better, and the institution can still fail if it cannot absorb the volume or assign responsibility. That is why the real transition is not replacement in one clean step. It is adoption under constraint. Goldman Sachs research in 2026 argued AI may cause a modest net drag in some labor markets, while increasing jobs where it augments human work. Meanwhile, 91% of asset managers were already using or planning to use AI for portfolio construction and research. The same pattern is coming for medicine, energy, and food systems, including AI-guided alternative proteins that could cut meat and dairy demand and avoid gigatons of emissions. So the warehouse supervisor in that corridor is the real story. Not because a machine understands his pain, because it may detect the danger in the timing, the pattern, and the prior records before a human team does. The signal was there. The machine saw more of it. The unresolved problem is not whether AI can outperform us. It already can, if AI systems become the most accurate first decision maker in medicine, finance, and scientific research. What governance architecture can preserve human accountability without forcing society to ignore superior machine judgment? That is the question Civilization X will keep following. The constraint is real. The data exists. Whether the systems built around it can act on it at scale, that is the next engineering problem. Stay with Civilization X.